Hello, friends. My name is Johnny Judoka, and welcome to the very first episode, or formal episode of Animayhem. This is going to be like an anime series type podcast thing where I talk about the things about anime I love, the things I don't like about anime, and not that anime is bad or anything. It's just sometimes anime is not that great. It is what it is, you know? And so I'm excited because today is going to be the first time I really make this an anime centered video. And a long time ago, whenever I was posting stuff, I wanted to make videos about anime and stuff, but I really wanted to make it look professional. And so, as you might notice, I have a new intro for Animayhem. I have a new setup in my room. I had to move around. I had to literally move because of life circumstances. So I am in a position where I can make content now full time. And so I will do my best to make good quality and fun content for you guys. I'm excited. So today we're going to be talking about one of the top 3 anime of all time, like shonen anime of all time, more popular ones, maybe not the best. Bleach. And Bleach is a really interesting anime because I first heard of Bleach on Toonami. So if you don't know what Toonami is, if you're not from the US, Toonami is a segment of Cartoon Network at night on the weekends that would play anime. You have Yu-Gi-Oh, you have Bleach, you have One Piece, and you have Naruto. So I grew up on Naruto. Naruto was the very first anime I ever watched, and I ended up liking Bleach a lot. So this episode is all about why Bleach is awesome. So the main story of Bleach is about a young teenager, orange-headed, not red-headed, orange-headed, named Ichigo Kurosaki, who has the ability to see spirits and ghosts. And he gets in a situation where a hollow, an evil spirit, evil undead spirit, is trying to hurt him, and Rukia Kuchiki saves him. So Rukia tells Ichigo that she is a soul reaper, and their job is to send hollows back to the spirit world. And so, what is really interesting is that in the story that happens, Rukia helps Ichigo, and because of that, she gets sentenced to death because you're not supposed to interact with humans. So, the human realm, or this town they're from, is Kurokara Town, and so where Rukia used to live or lived was in a place called the Soul Society. And the Soul Society is run by these 13 captains. The 13 captain guard. It's the Gote 13. I think I said that right. And so you have all these different captains who are extremely, extremely powerful. One of whom is Rukia's brother Byakuya. So Byakuya is very upset with Rukia, and he says, "You deserve this. This is your fault." And so what ends up happening is Ichigo develops and gains Soul Reaper powers, and he's able to go to the Soul Society and save Rukia. So that's the first arc. So the first arc is Ichigo goes saves Rukia, and he has to go through all these different captains to get to them. And he has his friends, Chad, Uryu, Ishida, and Orihime. Orihime is the healer of the group. She's also the only female of the group of his friends, and but she's a little annoying with the voice acting, having those little hiccups and little grunts that she always does is actually really annoying, and I didn't really like her that much. So, but one of the things that makes Bleach really interesting is the world itself. Because if you look at Naruto, the world is created by the conflict of the characters. All the conflict comes from the fact that these are different nations warring with each other as ninjas. In Bleach, the world is created by the characters because there's not a lot of actual people in Bleach. You have the characters that make up the conflict. So the world makes up the conflict in Naruto, the characters make the conflict in Bleach. Because the conflict in Bleach, the main arc, is because Sosuke Aizen, who used to be a captain, he ended up betraying everyone because he wanted to be the ultimate being. And he had to find this item called the Hyokyu. I don't know how to say that right. But it was supposed to make him the ultimate human being. And one of his lieutenants, Gini Chimaru, which is, I love his character design, by the way. We'll talk about character design in a minute. It's really interesting because um, he's a pretty one-dimensional villain, but the way he is so powerful, the thing is like he's so powerful that it should make the show be like, oh, he's just a powerful dude. But all the different he is supported by all these different hollows, all hollow demons, the Espada. He works with the hollows to create this conflict. So obviously Aizen, he's a one-dimensional character. He just wants to be powerful, but the conflict is created by all these different villains are really powerful and have to fight the captains. Bleach's conflict is defined by the fights. So when certain animes have different fights, sometimes it's a battle of the wits, it's a battle of who's more powerful. And the thing about Bleach's fights, it's not just about who's powerful, but the aesthetic of like this person's just a badass dude. And some situations in fights are more about who knows more, but Bleach is all about epic fights. And there's different types of character struggles because in each fight between an Espada or an Rancor versus a human or a Soul Society captain, they sort of create these similarities of like this. If this was a Espada, a Rancor, and then this is the type of captain that would fight him. So two examples of this. They actually happen pretty back to back in the same episode. In the same episodes, is you have Sayapro Grants, who is a scientist who tries to manipulate his subjects so that when he infects them, he's able to have a voodoo doll and crush their internal organs and muscles and try to kill them. But Mari Kurosuchi, which is the captain, one of the captains, he actually ends up destroying Sayapro, and he actually is genius. He's a genius. He figured out a way to defeat Sayapro, and that's the thing. You have a scientist and a scientist, and then you have Noitra and Kenpachi who fight, and they are really aggressive fighters. Noitra defeats Nell, beautiful character design by the way, and Kenpachi was able to defeat him, and he doesn't actually technically has a Zanpakuto. He just has just full power. He just has full power. So he has a lot of power. So a lot of the things I like about Bleach is also the world building they do. Is they have the Karakura town, which is like a normal Japanese town, the Society, which has a different aesthetic to it, and Hueco the creator of Bleach, Tite Kubo, actually uses Spanish, like Espada, Hueco, which means Hollow World, to separate the different worlds and the different conflicts. One of the conflicts that I was interested in, but I didn't get to fully watch, was the conflict with Zangetsu teaching Ichigo how to use his Bankai, how to use his power, and how to defeat his hollow self. Because he develops hollow abilities, and the Visorids help him with that. So it is really interesting. I haven't watched every single episode, but I've watched most of the episodes, and I really enjoyed it. I had to stop watching some of the episodes because like the filler arcs are really really dumb. Like the Bound arc is really silly. Like you have vampires and they defeat the Soul Reapers easily without any explanation of why or how or what their power scaling is. But I really enjoyed watching Bleach because it's just epic fights. Ichigo is pretty likable as a character, as a protagonist. There's some protagonists where I'm like, Blue Exorcist, I hate that guy. In Naruto is generally a very well likable character. Boruto definitely is not. Deku from My Hero Academia, he's a little whiny, but overall, I really enjoyed Bleach. I loved the idea that all these different powers, especially with the Bankai. So basically, the weapon, the swords that the Soul Reapers have, or even the Espadas have, to defeat their enemies, has two forms: the Shikai and the Bankai. The Shikai is the first form, Bankai is the second form. And it's interesting because all the different, I mean, Bleach's names of like the characters and the moves are actually pretty long. Like Senbun Sakura's Kageyoshi, that's a long word. That's a long two words. So it is very interesting to see that all these different characters have different abilities depending on their character, their personality type. It's really interesting. Like Byakuya, he is a very formal and very stern um, captain, but he cares a lot about his family. He cares very much about his family, even if he doesn't mention it. And his semblance of Kurikayoshi, his bankai, is he's able to create a hall of swords, and then they become flower petals, and then that's just really beautiful. It's really aesthetically beautiful. Shisui Kyakuru's in the Thousand Year Blood Arc is really interesting because it's basically it's like you got to be out of a certain area before he can use it because everything is going to be destroyed, and it's explained like a story, like a romance story of these two tragic lovers, and but the way it narrates into the ultimate end of the enemy that Shisui's fight. Sorry, my camera watches tracks my movement. Sorry, is really phenomenal. It's really phenomenal. It's just an epic way to win the fight. So I just just moved a little bit here and there. Sorry, I won't do that anymore. I promise. But yeah, that is Bleach. I really enjoyed watching Bleach. It was a really cool anime. I'm gonna try to make more of these, more episodes, and what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna be doing like one of the things I want to do is I want to make personality quizzes, not quizzes, personality evaluations of like what kind of personality based on the Myers-Briggs MBTI is a character. So I'm gonna be doing that. I'm gonna be posting more anime stuff. I'm gonna try to watch One Piece and talk about the episode and everything, and do reactions. I gotta figure out my computer situation first because I gotta figure out how I can record multiple things on two monitors at the same time because I only have one monitor on one desk. So overall, I'm excited for this next season of life. I'm excited for making content, and I hope you enjoyed this first episode of Anime Mayhem. See you guys. Peace.